welcome back to the channel. In the previous video we did some basic calculations using MathCAD Prime 6, and in this one we'll be working on some advanced calculations. I already have a MathCAD file, and this is what we did in the last video. We defined some variables and we had some basic operations. Now there are some few important topics that I need to tell, like let's say I want to print the value of C again. Oh, so this is actually different than what has been defined before. Now the difference is this is a capital letter and this is a small letter, and you see that these are different colors. These are black and these are a little green color. So by this, how you can tell that this is a constant. This is a constant and it already has a value defined to it. And next thing it tells is MathCAD is case sensitive. So the capital letters and the small letters are not the same. They're different. Now, if you have to know if they're more constant, you can always go to Math, Constant, and this is the constant that has been defined before. Now, let's say if I just want to get the value for pi, then you can just go to the Math, Constant, select pi equals to 3.142. And this is a long process. What you can do to make this work easier is just find some keyboard shortcut to get the value pi. Now, do I remember what's the shortcut for pi? No. So I just have to go in there and look for the shortcut. So it says P Control Z. So I basically have to type P Control Z at the same time to type pi in the MathCAD. Now I go in here, P Control Z. So it has to be at the same time, P Control Z, that's pi, equals to 3.142. And that's all for the constant. Now let's go to the advanced calculations. Now for advanced calculations, I'll be working 5 to 6 problems. The first is finding the square root. Let's say x equals to, x is defined as square root of 100. Everybody knows it's 10, equals to 10. Now you can just change that to 3 to find the cube root. Just have to press over there. 3. Okay, it's simple. Now you can also change that to 5. Instant result, you can see. And let's do some trigonometry operations as well. S is defined as sine of 30 times pi divided by 180. So to type pi, Control P, Control G, divided by 180, and equals to 0.05. Remember, all of these are in radians. This is something you have to remember yourself. Now you can solve for some equations. Let's say y is defined as 3 plus x to the power 5. Now that's under 3. You already defined value of x before, which is 2.51. Now let's say I just want to simplify this. I'll change this to 1. So the answer should be 4, right? Yep. And then you get the answer 4. And I also like to double check the values more often because this is just a software, so you have to double check if you're actually doing the work properly. The reason I do that is because, let's say if I intend to use this x, but somehow I have a different value of x hidden somewhere around here. Let's say x is equal to 2, and you don't know if this exists, then this will actually not use the value that you intend to use, which is 1, and the MathCAD will actually use this because this is the recent one as compared to this one. Now this is simple. You probably do not need a software to do this, but if you want to change that to, let's say, multiple numbers, and if your X is complicated as well, let's say this is just 2. This is when you find the MathCAD handy. Now next thing you can do is this number looks kind of, you have to do a lot of multiplications, right? And if you want to get a different formatting for this number, you can always go to math formatting and change that to decimal. So this is going to give you a nice precise number. Remember, this is how different this is. This is 3 10 to the power 6 and 3.45. So it really depends on what kind of formatting do you use. So I typically like to use the decimal. Let's go with that. And now we can do some integral and derivations as well. Okay, so this example, let's go and try to do some calculus problem. I can go to math, enter this operators, and let's go ahead and select some calculus problem. Let's do some integral, and I want to find something from -1 to 4 3x power to the 2 plus x plus x minus 3.5 d of x equals to 55. And if you want to change that from 4 to 1, the value is going to change because it's going to integrate from -1 to 1. Now 10, it can get as complicated. Now remember, you changed the formatting before. Now you can go and change that again the way you want to. And there's that. Also, if you find that difficult and if you have to do this operation multiple times, like I said before, you can always find the shortcut operators, and for integral you have to press Control-Shift-I. Control-Shift-I -1 10, and you can fill in the other one as you need. Now let's try to find a derivative. Let's say the g square 3 times g power to the 2. So to type in power 2, you just have to do Control-6. That's gonna get you the caret symbol. I don't know if it's called caret. Yep. So for exponent, you just have to type in Control and 6 to get the caret. And let's say I want to use 4 plus g power to the 2 again. Control. Minus 3.5, and I typically also like to put the bracket so this variable has not been defined before. That's what it's saying. Okay, so to to find the derivative is not as similar to finding the integral, so what you have to do is instead of using this equal sign, I have to go to the operators and use this definition or evaluation. So after selection of that, it's gonna do some operations and this is giving me something else than what I expected. The reason I'm getting this result is because MathCAD understood this as an integral of just this portion, I mean derivation of just this portion, and it got this as it is. So what I have to do is I have to include the bracket before and afterward. So let's say that's the bracket I needed. I'll just copy this, multiply, paste it inside, and get rid of that. Also get rid of that. See, this is different. Now, the difference between this and the one without bracket, now you can see the difference. So I'll just make sure that you follow the proper way to solve the problem. Let's get rid of this, and I will also get rid of this. Similarly, you can do more, like let's say more integral problems. M power to 2 dm equals 2. Again, so this has to be, this does not work here because you do not have the numbers defined. For variables, I gotta go there and press the symbolic evaluation, which is m cubed upon 3. Now I change that to 4. It's going to be m5 upon 5. Now, next you can do is you can also do some summation as well. Let's say I'm defining this f function of z is defined as summation g is equal to 1 up to 4 1 divided 32 times g power to the 2 minus z divided by 13 times minus 48 times g cubed. And I can just put equals to behind it and find the value. So this, what it's going to do is from g, for g1 to 4, it's going to find the summation of all these defined values and give the sum altogether.